All right, here we go. Hello everybody and welcome to another review from All Tech Canada. This is Mo and today we have the LG G7 ThinQ. So as usual I'm going to go with the specs and here we are, home screen. So to begin with, the screen is a 6.1 IPS LCD display that comes at a 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio. And of course, it's a Quad HD display. For those who care about the resolution, it's 564 ppi density, and it comes with Gorilla Glass back and front. So with the aspect ratio, if you look into it, it's actually the same width as the LG G6, even though the G6 was a 5.8-inch screen, while the G7 is a 6.1. It's just the same width, different aspect ratio. The G6 was 9 by 18. This guy is 19.5 by 9, so just a bit taller display. When it comes to internal, the phone comes with a Snapdragon 845 processor, 64 or 128 gigabytes of storage, which is expandable. Good job, LG. A 4 gigabytes of RAM or 6 gigabytes depending on what model you pick, and all of that is powered by 3000 milliamp hour battery. The camera, there are two cameras at the back, and yes, it looks like an exclamation mark. So we have two. One is the regular one, or they call it now wide camera. The other is the ultra wide camera to capture more image into your shot. Up front there is a notch, and within that notch there's a speaker. There is a 8 megapixel front facing camera and the other sensors. Now in the software you can kind of make the screen all black if you want, the notch all black if you want. That's up to you. I kept it as this when I was using it. Other features, the phone has IP68, dust and water resistance, and it's one of the things that I liked about it is its weight. It's very light at 162 grams, and it's been a while since the last time I got a phone, and you put it in your pocket and you forget it's in your pocket. That kind of is a nice feeling. It comes with a military standard 810 G compliance, and that's pretty much some environmental tolerance and pressure and whatnot. You can Google that. Now, when it comes to media, it comes with Dolby Vision, so the screen is good, and Hi-Fi DAC. Now, again, the screen is an LCD display, and I'm not a huge fan for LCD displays, but I think LG got this thing with the V30 when it got, and the Pixel 2 XL when they released their POLED, and there were tons of burn-ins. There are tons of defects with the displays, so they went back to LCDs with the G7 instead of going with another POLED display like the V30 and the Pixel 2 XL. So I've used this phone now, we're done from the specs. I've used this phone for about a month, more or less. And of course, there are things that I liked about and there are things that I didn't like about. And to begin with, as I mentioned, the phone is lightweight and it's compact. So again, it's very slim. It's as slim as the G6, which has a smaller display. Again, aspect ratio. Oops, I was about to knock the camera out. A different aspect ratio. But same width. So this one is taller than the G6 and same width. And it's nice to have a lightweight and compact phone every now and then. Even though I usually prefer big screens, I use this one and I didn't have a problem with viewing things. It was the size didn't bother me because of the aspect ratio. You can read emails better and so on. Another thing that I really liked about this phone is the call quality. Now, I tried the Razer phone before this one, and the Razer phone had crappy call quality, which made me go away from it. With this one, the call quality is excellent. It's one of the best call quality I've ever used on a phone for a long time. It even matches the stuff you get from Samsung and Apple iPhones and so on. Excellent call quality, and I was really happy about that. And yeah, to be honest, that's what I liked about the phone. Other things, the camera was good. However, to be honest, the camera even on the Note 8 or Pixel 2 XL produced better picture quality than the camera on this phone. The phone always seems to oversaturate pictures, and it seems to have a problem with the dynamic range. So if it's a challenging shot where there's light, most likely it's going to darken the background a lot compared to the foreground. And yeah, so, and of course night shots, the Pixel 2, even the Pixel 2, I'm not talking about the 3 or 4, the 4 is coming out, but the 3, I'm talking about the Pixel 2, which came before this phone. Even the Pixel 2 produced better picture quality. Even the Samsung Note 8 produced better picture quality than this phone. Another thing that I wish LG would work on is the battery. So the battery on this one is 3000 milliamp hour battery, which is not big by any mean. However, what I really didn't like about this camera is, the battery, is the fact that it's not as good. For me, I was able to get 4 to 5 hours of screen on time, which is kind of below what I'm getting on any other high-end flagship right now. And on top of that, the screen, as I said, it's an IPS LCD. The screen keeps hunting low brightness, and usually when I see that on a phone, I know the battery is not going to be good, because companies do that. Now here I boosted up to the max. Sorry about that, I got a phone call. So yeah, back to the phone. So one of the things I didn't like about this phone is the battery. So it's 3000 milliamp hour battery, which is, as I said earlier, it's not big by any means. And as a result, I was getting about 4 hours of screen on time, more or less, depending on what I do with the phone. So if when I play games, I was getting even sometimes less than 4 hours of screen on time. When I'm just using it for, regular video and so on, sometimes I get 4.5, which is not a lot. It's there are so many phones that came out even last year, like the Pixel 2 XL, like the Samsung S8 Plus. All these guys, they have better, even the S8, they have better battery life than this one. So I wish LG would work on the battery for future updates on this phone. And another thing, as I mentioned earlier, it's an LCD display. I wish they put an AMOLED display instead. I think they did with the G8. I didn't check that one out, but I believe they did. I'm not sure. When it comes to the speaker, now LG made the phone hollow, which is one of the things I didn't like about this phone. So the build quality doesn't feel as a high-end phone. The build quality feels a bit cheap. The phone feels, yeah, it is light, which I liked, but the phone feels hollow. So even when you press on it, you kind of feel it's kind of flexing a bit, which is not the nicest feeling when you're using a high-end phone. So when you press on it, I know it's a solid build, but because LG wanted to do that boom speaker or whatever they call it, where you put your phone on the table and then it magnifies the sound of the speaker, they made the phone hollow, which kind of makes it feel cheap, and I didn't like that about it. And even the results, the speaker doesn't sound very good. The speaker is one of the things I hated about this phone. It's loud, yes, but the sound quality is garbage, and it's tinny. It's if you're trying to listen to anything, it's really annoying to use it at max volume. And on top of that, because it's hollow for that boom effect, the phone vibrates. Now, most people will use, when they're watching a video or something, they're going to be holding the phone and watching that video, and they won't be putting on the phone on the table. And because of that, because of the hollow effect of the phone kind of vibrates when you're listening to music, and it's really annoying. It's really annoying to use a phone, watch a video and put it a bit high volume and it starts vibrating. I really hope, I mean, if I wish LG would, instead of making the magical sound boom, whatever they call it, the sound effect when you put the phone on the table, I wish they made a bigger battery. That would have been way more useful than putting a crappy speaker and a hollow phone that in hopes to magnify that the sound coming out from that crappy speaker. All right, so now I'm done all the whining about this phone. Other than that, yeah, as I said, the feel quality, yes, it's light, it feels cheap. So when you flex on it, you feel it's gonna, it kind of bends in a bit if you push on it. I don't know if it shows on the camera, but when you press on it, it kind of feels cheap because it's hollow again. All that something boom sound, whatever they call it. I don't know. I didn't even bother what they call it because it's garbage. Another thing I didn't like about this phone, now, when it comes standard out of the box, it doesn't have an app drawer, which I hate in Android phones. Huawei do that. I really hate it. Thankfully, there's an option in the setting where you can change it for, well, I don't have time to look for it right now, but there's an option for it to make to choose an app drawer instead. And one thing I don't like about this phone, it's an LG thing. So whenever you download an app, the sort apps, you gotta go in the settings and click on each time, even though you want it all the time, A to Z. You gotta go to the settings and click on it each time you download an app, because an app just goes to the end of the list, and it's really annoying. It's a small thing, but it's there. Other than that, the phone it's great. Now, would I recommend it? Oh yeah, and it comes with a hi-fi quad DAC, which makes listening to music using a headphone amazing. That's one of the things I really like about LGs. They keep true to the headphone game. So there's always a headphone jack right here. The camera's not picking it up, but you know it's there. And on top of that, it comes with a hi-fi quad DAC, which is amazing for listening music. So the bottom line, would I recommend this phone? Here's one thing. LG's, they always drop in price really fast. So if you get this one for really cheap, yeah, go for it. It's a good phone. It's an excellent phone. It's not gonna disappoint you if you get it for cheap. However, I wouldn't buy it right when it came out, because that's when it's usually expensive. And if any price that's expensive, more expensive than Samsung or even Huawei, I would just go with the Samsung or a Huawei or even a Pixel. I wouldn't go with the LG. And the reason why I'm saying that, because simply LG doesn't have good longevity for their phones. So for example, the G4, G3, they came with the boot loop issue, the G5 build quality issue, the G6, if you Google like this one, the reason why this one is here is because it has the USB-C moist, so it doesn't charge with the USB-C anymore issue, which is common, by the way, on the G6 and the V30. So there's always a long-term issue with LG phones, and that's something I hope LG would address in future phones. For this one, it just came last year, and so far there isn't any long-term effect. Did they get better? Not sure. I can't say yes or no. Time will tell. But from previous history of LG phones, there's always an issue that would come to their phone and plague the entire lineup. And that's why, unless you get it really cheap, where if it breaks after a year and a half, it's not a big waste of money compared to if you get a Samsung, which might be more expensive and it might last more. that would be a good choice. But if the phone is the same price as a Samsung, Huawei, or a Pixel, just go with these guys. They have proven that that they can last longer than LG phones. But other than that, it's a good phone. Unfortunately, it doesn't excel at anything. So as I said, battery life doesn't excel compared to Samsung, Pixel, and so on. Screen, same thing. Pretty much every aspect, camera, you name it, Samsung, Pixel, Huawei, they do it better than LG, which I think why LGs are having difficulty moving phones at high prices. Each LG phone dropped the price after a few months to almost half the price. And I think this one is now available for like $350 or so on Amazon. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't look the prices on Amazon, but the prices for this one, same as G8, they drop right away. And maybe you can pick one for cheap, use it for a year and a bit, and you'll be happy with it. And with that, I conclude this video. If you have any question, write it down in the comments, or tweet me at AlticCanada, again, at AlticCanada. This has been Modab, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye. Cheers.